What's up? A little live before lock. I guess technically that's what this is, right? We're going to talk a little baseball, a little Sorare MLB, if you will. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel if it's your first time checking it out. What we'll do, let's do a little lineup review from this past week. We see if we got any sweats going on. We'll take a look at today's daily, which I think locks in like an hour. And then we'll look ahead to this weekend. Game week 7 on Sorare MLB locks tomorrow afternoon. Matic Auto in the chat. Love to see it. Let's start there. Oh, we got a doggo sighting too. Little shakeout over there. What up, bro? Whoa, he's getting after it. Can you guys see him? Look, yeah. What's he doing? Oh, you know what? He just ate. Yeah, there he is. Look at the little fluff. The little fluff. Come here, bud. Come here. There you go. Every time he eats, he like comes in like dive bombs off the couch or the carpet afterwards. I think because he's got a little food or water on his beard. All right, enough of that. Enough of the pupper. Although now he's sitting uncomfortably behind me. Let's take a look at some so rare stuff. Before we do the daily, let's go to bi-weekly. And man, it has been like a brutal run out. I think a lot of people were probably in this spot, but just pitchers getting lit up this game week. We also had Jacob deGrom just get scratched. These are my squads here. You can see this one's in the top 90%. That's pretty sick. deGrom with a DNP. Yankees playing 4 games, but still kind of sucking balls. They got one more game today. This is toast. This one's in the top 40%. We got 30 from Clay Holmes in his start. Miller has 1 game left, although potential rain out in this A's game. And then we got Brandon Lau, who has only lost points since the first game. Same thing with Christopher Morel. Yandy Diaz has been fine. Corbin Carroll with the 39 bomb is fun. And then this is the same one, Valdez with a 0. So pretty fun sweat so far. For daily today, I'll just give you a couple of little tidbits here. If you're building right now, I mean, what sucks is the A's is clearly like the best spot tonight, but there is some concern that game is going to get rained out. That's the only real weather concern that I've been seeing anyways so far. So currently I've got Tanner Beebe, Payente, and then Sanchez as my 3 pitchers, and then rolled out Rooker, Butler, Soderstrom, and Seager. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it. If I had to rank pitchers for today from like the early games, I mean, I think like Brian Wu got scratched, so now Emerson Hancock is pitching for the Mariners. You got Brady Singer and Eduardo Rodriguez you could throw early if you needed to. Some of the late games, Taj Bradley, probably the highest risk and highest upside because he's going against the Yankees, but his K rate's been awesome. You've got Rocker against the Angels. That's kind of it. It's pretty gross after that. And I know I said I was playing Payente, but don't really feel good about it. Pablo, let's go. I've dived into limited in season with Blue Jays collection WRL. I mean, Blue Jays could put up some runs, Pablo. Blue Jays could put up some runs. But you're also talking to somebody else who was also, pretty new to this as well. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask. But let's take a look at this weekend stuff. We'll dive in a little bit and then get a feel for some of the best spots. I mean, luckily, because it's the weekend, right, we have a little bit of a shorter slate, so we're not really focused on teams with 4 games or anything like that. Should all be equal across the board. And you saw our guy Rafi Devers making the thumbnail. I really do like the Red Sox this weekend, and I'll explain why when we get there. But shout out Jump Shoot, who came on the show this past weekend and kind of brought us over here to Fantasy Pros, which should help us out a little bit. So let's start here. The Athletics are on the road against the Brewers, and they're going up against Peralta, Patrick, and Alexander. So outside of Peralta, right? Peralta, top 20 starting pitcher, according to Fantasy Pros here. But Patrick and Alexander, not great, Bob, right? So the Athletics, though, they're not in the same like home environment that we love so far to start the season. But against Milwaukee, I do think that is pretty spicy. So that's a fun one. If we go to the Diamondbacks are going to be at the Cubs. Now, depending on which way the wind's blowing, that could be pretty fun and pretty middle of the road matchups here. You've got Ray, you got Brown and Tyon. So no like massive blow up spots, but also it is the Diamondbacks offense, which is pretty solid against middle of the road pack in the Chicago Cubbies. Atlanta is hosting Minnesota. You can see the matchup rank here is 10th overall. They're getting Paddock, Richardson, but then they get Joe Ryan on that third game, which is probably what lowers some of the upside for Atlanta there. But still, like, again, a decent spot. O's and Bo's. You get the Orioles against the Guardians. They're getting Abbott, but then they get Green and Lodolo. So Orioles are always they have like the offense that's got some massive upside, although they're still waiting for Cowser to come back, I believe. I don't know if the Orioles I'm going to be forcing in just because I think there are better spots. And I mentioned those Red Sox, right? Look at who they're going up against. And I know they disappointed in Chicago last weekend, right? But now they go back to Boston, where they have historically hit the ball really well. The weather's supposed to be pretty good and pretty warm in Boston this weekend. They've got Martin Perez, starting pitcher number 250, Smith, starting pitcher 193, and Burke 240. This is like elite stuff. A terrible gas can rotation, plus the Boston Red Sox offense. Bregman, I believe, is like day-to-day. Did he just have a kid? Did Alex Bregman? Bregman, I had like a massive game and then missed a couple of games or missed one game. I expect him to probably be there this weekend. We should have more information tomorrow. But the Red Sox, I mean, just top to bottom could be a lot of fun. And if Bregman does sit, somebody like Wilyer Abreu, I know they don't play the same position, but we've already seen Alex Cora move him up in the starting lineup. He's moved from like the 6 or 7 hole to like the 4 hole because Cassis has been struggling so much. But again, man, I love 2 right-handeds, 1 left-hander. I think for a fun one for the daily that you could look at here on Friday, I don't think I'd put him in my full weekend stack, but Rob Refsnyder, he just as a lefty masher, gets to go back to Fenway, and then Perez on Friday night would be a fun one. I know I'm going to be saving him for them. Anyways, that's enough about the Sox. Are probably one of my favorite stacks, along with the Athletics so far. Then you get the Cubbies, who we mentioned were going against the Diamondbacks already. But look at this, man. They get Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, and Merritt Kelly. This is not the rotation you want to attack. I mean, you can still, like, it is a beatable in the sense that you have a Kyle Tucker, you have Suzuki, you have Ian Happ. So, like, I totally get running those guys out there. I think that would be a little bit more weather dependent if we hear from the meteorologists of the world saying that wind's blowing out at Wrigley, but that's usually more of a summertime thing. I think maybe Arizona is safe for daily. The White Sox, on the other hand, they get the Red Sox. They're unfortunately getting Crochet, who almost no-hit them over last weekend. Dick Fitz, who it looks like he is not going to miss the scheduled start after getting removed from a game like 6 innings in, and then Tanner Houck. I think the Red Sox are beatable right now. So even though it is Crochet, I think some of your White Sox are fine. I think, though, you'd focus the White Sox on the daily comp, right? I don't think you need to force it in to the full weekend because you don't want to get blanked out by Crochet there, right? The Reds, baby, they get the O's. We don't know who's pitching first, but then it's Povich and Morton. The Reds are awesome. I wish they were in Cincinnati. They're at Baltimore. I think McCain is back in the lineup. Friedel, Dadel. You got TJ Friedel over there. You got Encarnacion Strand and also Eli Belly de la Cruz. All of those guys, I think, are solid plays. So you can absolutely get to all of them Reds. You could do that. Let's see what else we got going. The Guardians taking on the Pity Pirates. They've got Mlodzinski, and Keller, which you don't mind. But then you get the third or ranked SP3 and Skeens. You can't. I don't know. I think you save your Guardians for you save your Quans and J-Ram. You're probably still playing them, but I think I would save my Guardians for the daily just because I don't want to rely on Skeens. Now this is Taylor. Taylor, close your eyes. The Colorado Rockies have been off to a horrendous start. However, they get to go home to Colorado. They get that sweet altitude back, and they have some pretty fun matchups. They got Mackenzie Gore, who was fine, but then they followed that up with Jesus Christos, B. Lord, SP 358, and then Irvin, SP 118, according to the Fantasy Pros ranks. So the Rockies, baby, tap them. Tap the Rockies. Your Tovar's, your Brenton Doyle, honestly, especially even against Gore, I think is a pretty fun matchup. McMahon, and I totally get if you don't want to use them for the weekend because you've been like for the full game week, just because of how bad they've been. They'd be excellent daily plays, but I will absolutely be rolling out a Rocky stack. 3 games in Coors. Sign me up. I wish I had more Nationals ahead of time. We're going to talk about the Nationals. We'll look at the marketplace too in a second to see if those have jumped a little bit. But man, James Wood and the rest of the Natty crew, Kyber Ruiz, fire them up. Fire them up. Let's keep going. The Tigers. Tigers are taking on Kansas City. Tonight is the first game of a 4-game series here, but they get Reagans in the first matchup, Lugo in the second matchup, and Waka in the third matchup. They are home. I don't love it. I don't think I'm getting there too often. Let's do. I think we can move on. Like if you want to play him, Torkelson's been on fire. I think he's got 6 dangers already this season. So yeah, sure, you can do it. Riley Green, whatever. Better spots this weekend though. Houston Stros. They get San Diego. Not fun. They get Hart in the first matchup. So listen, Houston seems like a daily play. I think we're firing up Houston on Friday against Hart. That's going to be one of the elite matchups, but then they follow that up with King and Cease. I think you can do better. We just talked about the Tigers. Let's do the Royals side of it. They actually have the 6th best matchup this weekend. They get Joby, who's starting pitcher 214, then Mize 119, and then Skubal there on Sunday. But I do think Skubal, like, not the worst, a little bit beatable. And then later in the week, they go to Colorado. So if you don't have your Kansas City now, you can get your Kansas City later, baby. You can get them later. The Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, taking on Logan Webb. Not great right away. And then Rupp and then Verlander. They're home. I don't know. I don't think you want to attack this. Like if Verlander's their worst starting pitcher, you can probably do better. The Dodgers get DeGrom, Eovaldi, and Molly this weekend. Not great. I would say DeGrom did get scratched. They moved the rotation around. Be curious to see if they are firing him back up. So that's something to pay attention to. You got Miami against Philly, where they're getting Wheeler, Walker, and Luzardo. I don't think we're really attacking Miami. We've mentioned the Athletics, but the Brew Crew, they get Gin, Severino, and Springs. The reason they're ranked 21st, though, you can see later in the weekend, they get Robbie Ray and Webb. I actually think the Brewers are pretty good here. I'm not really scared. Springs is a fine starter, but I'm not scared of them. So I think your Peraltas, your Yelich's, your Garrett Mitchells, your Reese Hoskins, all of those guys, Contreras, fire them up. Twins here. Twins got a great little spot, right? Because this weekend they get Elder and Holmes. They do have Sale in between there, but Sale's super beatable. Sale is super beatable still. And Minnesota finally starting to get things together a little bit. I think you can get there. The Mets here this weekend, I know they're not, it doesn't look like they're ranked great, but Mikolas and Liberatore in the first 2 games of this weekend series, then followed by Sonny Gray. I mean, the reason this is ranked so low, 29th, is the back end, because then they get Philly where it's Nola, Sanchez, and Wheeler. But honestly, you're not scared of these guys. St. Louis has been getting smoked. They're playing in New York. We have good weather this weekend. So I think the Mets are a pretty good snack. They're a good snack. They're a pretty good stack. The Skanks, the Yankees get the Rays. They got Rasmussen, Baz, and Pwapwa. You can always play New York. I know Tampa Bay, it's still getting into our head that Tampa Bay is a good hitting environment now that they're outside. You can still play New York. This is not a great matchup. These are 3 really solid pitchers. However, it is the Yankees. Yankees can put up crooked numbers whenever they want. I would be curious if people are scared to play their Yankees, then I'd be a little bit more excited about them. If they're going to be a lower owned option, because everybody's going to be focusing on Coors Field and then the Athletics series against the Brewers. But I think you can get to the Skanks. The Philadelphias are playing they're playing the Marlins over the weekend. They are at home, and Sandy Alcantara, who has not been the same Sandy since coming back from injury. So Sandy's beatable here, starting pitcher 34. But then they get Quantrell and Gillespie, who are both gassy cannies. So I think the Phillies are really, really good plays this weekend. The Pirates, we mentioned, are going up against the Guardians. They get Ortiz, Lively, and Allen. Let's go Buccos. I think the Pirates are a great spot. Also, real quick, they're going up against Trevor Williams today, who Trevor Williams doesn't get blown up, but I do think for a daily stack is pretty solid. just for today. Padres, decent spot. They get Gusto, Wisniewski, and then Valdez. All very beatable in Houston, so not like the best environment, but your dads are fine. Your Giants here, though, look at this. Anderson, Hendricks, and then Kikuchi. Woo! Giants are great. You can get to the Bay Area, bros. San Francisco Giants are great. Seattle gets Bowden, Francis, Jose Barrios, and Lucas. Lucas actually, I believe, shut down the Sox not too long ago. I think Seattle's fine. Seattle is fine. Middle of the road, so we're not too excited. Whatever. Cards are going up against Holmes, Senga, and Peterson this weekend. You're probably not getting there. The Rays, we mentioned, are against the Yanks, but now they got Rodon, Carrasco, and then Fried. Excuse me. So maybe just save it for daily on Saturday. Then we have, why is that there? Let's get that guy out of the way. Can I refresh this? Hold on. All right. So then we have the Rangers here getting Yamamoto, starting pitcher number 10 on Friday. Sasaki, 53, and then Glasnow, 18. Not a good weekend for the Rangers. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, also not a good weekend. They pushed Brian Woo's start back for the Mariners. I mentioned that at the top. So he's going on Friday, then Gilbert, then Castillo. That's not awesome. But let's finish with the Nationals, the number one stack here, getting Dollander, Freeland, and Senzatella this weekend. So let's go look at the Nats, because I do think that is going to be probably the most popular stack of the weekend. And I'm curious to see what the prices are looking like for these heavy hitters. And it might just be James Wood is the one that is the most expensive. I could see him being the only one that absolutely pops here. Let's go to manager sales. We're not going to look at pitchers either. So let's do Nationals. And let's just do limited just for our sake. And then we'll do corner, middle, and outfield. All right. So you've got Paul DeYoung. No, he's injured. Dylan Cruz over there. Kyber Ruiz. James Wood at $30 and CJ Abrams. So yeah, I mean, I think Kyber Ruiz is a little sneaky, right? I think that's actually a decent play there. I don't hate that. What if we look at all of them? What if we look, is there anybody else that we're missing here in this Nationals roster? Ahmed Rosario, Joey Gallo, wow. Cesar Hernandez. I remember him. Anybody that we're missing here that we need to mention? I mean, I guess it really is just James Wood, Ruiz. But yeah, again, you're playing in Colorado. That's a pretty fun environment. So I think it is worth taking shots on those guys and Colorado. And I mean, I don't know, maybe there we go. Diet Luis Arias. There we go. Love that, Sean. Arias. I mean, I do think there is some there. I kind of like when Coors Field has two shit teams, right? Because when the Dodgers are playing in Colorado, everybody's like, oh, we got to get the Coors Field. It's the Dodgers. And now when it's Rockies and Nationals, I don't know if everyone's going to be so focused on jamming those guys in there. So let me build a lineup here. Let's see what we got. Let's do a little bi-weekly. Let's see what we got here. And a reminder, lock is tomorrow. I don't think we have afternoon games, so we should be okay. Also, if you are playing on the basketball side of stuff, we will have a stream tomorrow at the same exact time as today. So noon tomorrow, we'll do a little basketball breakdown for the freaking weekend, okay? So let's do our limited champ here. Let's take a look at our pitching options. So we got a little Crochet. Crochet coming off that almost no-hit performance against the White Sox. He gets the White Sox again this weekend. We've got Michael King against the Astros. Shane Baz against the Skanks. We got Logan Gilbert against the Mariners. Framber against the Padres. You got Lodolo against the O's. We got Pepois. Clay Holmes is up in there. Tanner Hawk. Jakob deGrom. I think we're just going to, we have a lot of starters this weekend. We're just going to go ahead and throw Crochet in there. I do think we have a couple of relieving options. I think we're actually going to go either Bowden. We're going to go Clay Holmes here. We're going to use our reliever spot. We'll use Clay Holmes to get the start against the Cards. Clay Holmes actually has been off to a pretty good start this year. He's been limiting damage, had that 11K game not too long ago. And then I think I don't have a ton of Nationals, but let's do the Coors Field. Let's see if the Coors get their shit together this weekend. Again, a pretty good spot. We got Ryan McMahon. We can fire up McMahon. Let's see. We also have Tovar over here, I think, right? so we can get Tovar up in there. Let's do it. Ezekiel, as long as he's good to go. And then I think we get Brenton Doyle right in there too. So I think that's how we're going to start things off. And now, I mean, Corbin Carroll, again, I mentioned that those, like, I don't love Chicago and Arizona. I do like Carroll more than Tucker. I think I am going to play him. I think I'm going to save my A's for the I'm going to save my A's for my next stack, although maybe you play like Brent Rooker, I don't know. Cuz I do like the A's this weekend, but I think what we'll do, we'll scroll down a little bit further. I think Jackson Churio is pretty good against the A's. We actually might just do that. Churio might be the play here. We're just going to throw Churio. Churio. So there we go. That's going to be our initial look at the squad here. So we got Crochet pitching with Clay Holmes. Then we've got the Rocky stack of McMahon, Doyle, Tovar with Carroll and Jackson. It's a pretty solid one there. We don't mind it. Let's build a second one here. Let's build a second one here. I guess I did not need to do that. I went the wrong way. My bad. Clicking too many buttons, baby. We're mashing too many buttons here. All right, let's start this again here. I think we just get DeGrom in this one. Who did we say DeGrom was going up against? Oh, the Dodgers, actually. I don't know. Do we still want to do that? King against the Stros. Yeah, I guess so. Whatever. Let's just bet on talent. Let's get DeGrom in there. Our next reliever, let's throw Bowden Francis in there. Another starter. That's kind of fun. Now let's do our oh, wait. We wanted to do Red Sox. What am I doing, bro? What am I doing? Let's get Devers. Devers is going deep there, kid. Let's do some more Sox. Go Sox. We'll get Trevor Story. What's your story? Morning Glory. How about Duran? Do they have Bregman playing this weekend? No, bro. Wait, I thought... Did I miss the Bregman news? I didn't think Bregman was... Hold on. Can I show suspended injured? Let's see. What did Bregman... He's on paternity leave? Did they say he's expected to return April 19th? Oh, so he's going to miss one game? Damn. All right. So if Breg's not going, all right, we'll change this if he is. If we find out he is going, we'll change it. Let's see. Do we force another Red Sox in there? Or do we could go Cassis. They do have Bregman for 25. All right, let's throw Bregman in there for the time being, just because I want to do that, and I'm always going to go back anyways. And then let's see, one more flexi sexy. Let's see. We got Kyle Tucker here, projected for 28 according to RotoWire. We've got Tucker would be fun. You got Matt McClain against the O's. That's actually pretty good in Baltimore. Contreras, I think, is fine. We got some Skanks you mentioned, some A's. What do we just throw Kai Bear? Nah, do we throw Kai Bear in there? Do we throw Kai Bear in there? I think we're going to get some Kai Bear bombs. I'm calling it now. Some Kai Bear bombs. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boom. Bing, bang, boom. Kai Bear Ruiz. All right, let's build our third one. And then we can, I don't know, take questions if you got them. It's a little bit trickier doing this show versus the other ones, right? Where we're just like staring at projections and answering questions and shit. All right, let's get Logie Gilbert. Let's pair him up with a little... Let's throw Chapman in this one. We'll throw Chapman in this one. And then let's do some Reds. Let's get some Reds in this one. I mentioned they're playing the Orioles. Oh, he's on the 10-day. I missed that. All right, let's do Rooker. And then we'll do McClain. And then we'll do Friedel Dadel. We'll do a two-man Red stack. And then let's go back to the Athletics here. Let's see. We've got Soder's. Yeah, let's throw Butler in there. We'll do a two-man. And then let's just save Tucker for daily. I wonder how many people will be using somebody like King Tuck in the daily contest. Let's do that. Mix it up a little bit. Maybe we go Contreras. I think Contreras is a pretty good call. Buxton, we mentioned. Yeah, actually, let's just do a Buxton one-off. We were talking about the Twins being in a good spot. There we go. Let's do that. Kai Bear doesn't really hit bombs. He does in Colorado, baby. He does in Colorado. All right, we're banking on it. We're banking on the Coors bombs. Tap the Rockies, Coors Light. That's what we're doing. You guys have anything going on? What's up in your world? You guys have anything fun for us? Why was it that happening? All right, sorry, just got a notification about something. Yeah, anything else? A reminder too. I know I just said this. We'll do a little basketball show tomorrow afternoon too to get you guys ready for the weekend. But just wanted to get some baseball talk in there to make sure we were still talking about it. Let's see. Did we get any starting lineups for today? That would be helpful. Let's see. Let's see what we got for the on the dog app for starting lineups here in the MLB world. Let's see. I'll share screen. We can talk through it. Let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, we got all right. So we got the Phillies lineup already. Looks like wow, Stott in the leadoff spot, huh? Stott, Turner, Harper, Schwartz, Castellanos, Kepler, Real Mute, Baum, and Rojas. White Sox are rolling out. Wow, a lot of guys getting nights off. Merodroff, Robert, Vaughn, Vargas, Sosa. Man, these lineups tough. All right, we did get the. It looks like we got the A's lineup, and it's going Butler, Wilson, Soderstrom, Rooker, J.J. Blade, Seth Brown with the DH, Pereira. I keep forgetting Max Muncy's on this team. Natty's here, got Call leading off, followed by Wood, Rosario, Lowe, Cruz. C.J. Abrams way down in the lineup. We got the Pirates lineup here, Cruz, Reynolds, McCutch, Bart. All right, there we go. Yeah, back placed on the 10-day DL. That sucks for our guy in Carcion Strand. I was excited about him. All right, we'll call it there. Did somebody, Mike, did somebody ask you a question? When you said no, what's the now referring to? Yeah, I'm glad playback went well. I got home too late. I think I got home at I was hoping to be home at 9 so I could eat dinner and relax for 45 minutes beforehand, and I didn't get home until 10:15. It was busy last night. Oh, what you had going on? Okay, my bad. I was just filling words. Yeah, I don't know. We call it there, I guess. No basketball tonight. Guess we just take in some daytime baseball. I'm getting caught up on TV tonight. Is what I'm doing. We got to watch Daredevil, right? I think we had a new Daredevil. I think I'm behind on a studio show. What else? I'm kind of excited not to have basketball tonight, knowing how much. And Friday doesn't really count either. I'm not too jacked up for Friday ball, but the weekend, I'm very excited for this weekend. Although I have softball on Saturday, so I think I'm going to miss one of the games. But Last of Us, yeah. Wait, you haven't watched the first? I watched the first episode of Last of Us before you did. Wow. All right, dudes, we'll call it there. A quick 30 for Sorare MLB. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Feels like Friday, even though it's not. We'll see you tomorrow, same time on this channel to break down the NBA slate. Should be a fun one. We out.